Hi, love. Welcome to Queerify, formerly known as Quest, a journey to wellness. Here, we help demystify wellness for QPOC. And I'm V, aka Love Nest Monster. I'm a two-spirit human, joy influencer, and all pronouns accepted. Today, we're actually doing something a little different. For those of y'all that have been here, you know, usually we interview somebody and we highlight the work that they're doing for the community. Sometimes these interviews can go pretty long because we talk about a lot of stuff, y'all. The team here at Queerify, we thought we'd give you something a little snackable. Yes, I am the snack. New year, new formats, new us. And we're going to talk about navigating through this collective fear that's been coming up, and also our own fears that we build up in our own heads and how to move through it, and offering a new kind of medicine. You know, our last episode of the new medicine was tarot with Gigi, but today is not tarot. Today is me. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some life experiences, but also share with y'all some very intentional actions that I make to move through my fears. I hope it's helpful, and it's going to be exciting and nerve-wracking all at the same time, because I'm literally facing my fear by recording this episode all alone by myself with you. So the team and I, we talked about it. We think it's a really good idea to just talk about what's going on in the world, what's going on with us. So a little collective situation with a little personal situation, because I feel like, I've been avoiding it. And the team really encouraged me to step into my fear. Step into my fear because they all say that I have this core of putting others first. And my father, when I was a child, said the same thing. He has always said, put yourself first. And as a kid, of course, I'm like, I have no idea what that means. And as I'm now in my mid-30s, going into my late 30s, I'm like, holy crap. My dad's lessons from when I was a kid make sense, because, putting others first sometimes can feel good in the moment, but then after you're just kind of like a dried up sponge and you're just like, what do I do? By me being on this episode alone, vulnerable, exposed, but also this is what I'm doing for me. This is what's helping for me. Maybe those intentional actions that I'm taking, me sharing those with you later on in this episode might help you. I don't know. We'll see. But what I want to talk about today is fear. Because let's be frank, y'all. Fear, honestly, it keeps us away from existing authentically. It disconnects us from our own power. It can be scary, y'all. And the crazy thing is, fear exists in our head and we have full control of that. We have full control of that. But there are external forces that love to play that string and to be like, ooh, let me touch that button, the button that shouldn't be touched. And they're just like, let me play with that. And right now, collectively, y'all, it's scary out here for queers. It is crazy what's going on, not only for queers, but for a lot of people of color with, all of the immigration stuff and all of this. Just, there's a lot of fear right now to be authentic and then lose our safety. I'm not going to go into details or anything, but I spoke up on some injustices, and I might have put my housing at risk. And that's scary because I thought I was in a safe space to call the situation out And then things just got a little weird, and that's not cool. That's not cool to have to filter yourself or not exist in love in a loving place because you're a fear of your own safety. So I just want to sit here in what my team says is my main character energy. And I want to hold myself while also holding y'all. So here I am, and I'm doing it, and I'm facing my fears. When I think about facing my fears, I think about this quote when I was in sales for my first time and last time. And they told me this quote by Zig Ziglar that people often say motivation doesn't last, but neither does bathing. And that's why we recommend it daily. So for me, I'm like, shit, maybe every day I need to do a little something that scares me every day to have forward movement, to, break through that fear, because I was scared to host this podcast all by myself and interview guests all by myself. I was terrified. When we lost Corey, when we lost Alina, I love you guys. I miss you. I hope all is well. And yeah, I was completely terrified to do this all on my own. And I was sweating before every episode. I was shaking. I would pace back and forth in the living room before we sat down with the guest. And then everything was fine. I'd do the episode, everything was fine. And then here we are, X amount of numbers of episodes later. And I just wake up, rub my eyes, sit down and do the dang thing. And I'm talking to you right now, doing the dang thing. So, I might have had a panic attack or two yesterday, thinking I wasn't going to be able to do this, because that's my fear. That's my fear settling in, telling me you're not going to do a good job, or, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to turn out well. And that fear sometimes can blur the lines of am I sacrificing myself because I'm putting myself in this uncomfortable place? Does it feel like sacrifice when I'm over here doing a service? I'm trying to learn the lines of not sacrificing myself, but I want to be of service. Service, it fills me up. And I feel like when the service fills you up, there's no sacrifice. And I think that where the fear kind of blurs those lines is that I end up overprotecting myself. And what my overprotection looks like is avoidance. And then I have a therapist, y'all, and I've been telling her about this, and she said this thing that hit me so hard. And she's like, you know what? When you sit in avoidance, you are making your own world a little smaller. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're right. Because I tend to go in these waves of avoidance of taking care of myself, of even speaking up for myself. And when I avoid it, then I'm super hard on myself. You should have said this, you should have did that, or all the shouldas. And then it's even harder for me to get back to my own self-care because I'm over here beating myself up. And my therapist was like, no, beating yourself up is just going to make you stagnant. You're just going to stop. You're not going to move anywhere. She's like, you just got to gracefully guide yourself back. And it made me think about a lot of intentional actions that I make for myself that help me move through my fear. And the biggest one that brought me here today was my people, my mutually chosen people that believe in me and push me past myself to do these scary things. Because y'all, this may look easy, but it's a little scary. So I hope that you're enjoying this medicine that we're providing. And I guess because I'm so good at believing in other people and I'm so good at seeing what they have and putting them on a pedestal, or not a pedestal, a platform, and just like, you got this, like, you're badass, yada, da, da, that when people do it to me, I get awkward. And I'm like, no, what are you talking about? And when they push me with so much love and care, it makes me feel safer to just, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. And then I feel really good about myself later, because I'm like, that was actually pretty good, guys. And it even brings me to another buddy of mine who's like teaching me how to do things differently in my life. So now in the morning, I wake up and I have morning pages. So morning pages, you're probably like, what the heck is that? So think of it like this. When you wake up in the morning, most people, when they wake up in the morning, you have to pee. You have to pee so bad. And once you pee, you're just like, like that, like, So what morning pages is, don't touch your phone, don't go to the TV, don't go to like any kind of like technology. I mean, if you want to grab coffee or tea, sure. But the first thing, yes, go pee. And then sit down, 3 pages. Whether, like, just write 3 pages. Like, it's kind of like a thought dump, because you have all these thoughts in your head, but there's this belief that you have a clear thinking when you're in your subconscious, like in your sleep. And when you wake up, you're in that like transference between that like subconscious, fully clear thinking mind to that wake up, got to do the daily grind mind. So you're in that in between right when you wake up. So if you sit down and you're doing these pages, you're just dumping anything on the page. It could be picture. You could draw pictures. You could write one word here, a sentence over there. Like, it doesn't need to look like anything. Just fill up 3 pages of just thoughts. It doesn't need to make any sense. Just get it out there, and you'll feel that same sense of like, trust me. And then you'll also be like, oh my gosh, I thought that. You'll be surprised with yourself. But that's something that I try to do, and it really helps, having like different people bringing different ways of thinking, ways of moving. Like I said a little earlier, I have therapy. I'd have that weekly. And there's a lot of services out there that don't cost money. Just hit up your people, hit up your local clinics and queer spaces. If you don't have any accessibility, there is a lot out there. You just got to reach out to your resources, reach out to your local spaces. And if you don't have local, go online. There's loads and loads of resources, and a lot of people out there willing to help. Other than that, social media detox, y'all. Social media detox. That is like a fear machine. Like, there's another thing. It says comparison is a thief of all joy. And unfortunately, social media, that's what that is, a fear machine. You not only see all the scary things that are going on in the world, but you also are seeing what people want to present to you. You're not seeing what their life really is about. You're just seeing what they want to show you. So a lot of times, it becomes a thief of joy. So I think right now, what we all need to stand in is our joy. Our joy, right? Especially right now, our joy is a form of resistance. Our joy is the biggest form of resistance right now, because they're trying to scare our joy away. And we need to stick into that, y'all. And we need to bring it out of each other and hold it in with ourselves, because we can't let them take all that. Let's take our power back, y'all. Let's take our power back. But we want to do a little special thing at the end of all of our episodes where we pose a question. Because honestly, I think the biggest moments, at least for me in my life, where I've had a lot of big change, is when somebody asks me like a really like question that nobody else asks me. A question that makes me think like, oh, what would I do? Or what would I say? Sometimes not even that deep, but sometimes it feels deep. Reflective question that could be life-changing. I'm not saying I'm about to change your life, y'all, but I'm going to give you a little reflective question that you can just kind of, if you want to write it down, write it down. If not, just think about it, ponder on it, and hopefully it'll help. If your fear didn't exist, what's one decision you'd make to prioritize yourself? And it doesn't have to be a huge thing. You don't got to move mountains in your life. It could be a small thing that leads to another thing, that leads to another thing, that leads to another thing. If fear didn't exist, think about it. And you could reach out to us. Honestly, we're trying to get away from social media. So if you could email us, that would be awesome. So our email is queerifywellness, QUERIFYWELLNESS @gmail.com. Look at me. I'm like a spelling bee person. We're here for it. I would love to hear what y'all think. Take your power back, y'all. Do those little things that bring you closer to yourself. Maybe y'all will start some morning pages. Whatever it is, it's got to be something daily. Because it seems like dating doesn't last. That's why it's recommended daily, y'all. Well, this is me facing my fears in this episode all alone. I hope that you got something from it and enjoyed it. I love you all, and I hold you so dearly. This is me. This is V, signing out. Tap that follow button, give us a 5-star rating and review, and hey, your review might end up on the show. This podcast is organically grown by Rafaela Landestoy, Leah Jackson, and myself, V. Vasquez. Editor and sound designer, Leah Jackson of Puka Puka Creative. Original music, produced by Basque. His music is amazing. And emotional support by our fur babies, Nugget and Pukalani. And if I need to repeat that without saying, I am the snack.
No, that's the best part. Truly the best part of it all.
Oh, geez.